Hey y'all, how's everything on this beautiful spring day? I guess March 20th has passed, so we can definitely say that. Let me show y'all something real quick here. After this weekend, getting to be with all my babies and all on my 50th birthday, I feel like one of these old Tom turkeys strutting around. Isn't that pretty? And there's this dude. No, we ain't doing that right now. He's wanting to play games. Those are some pretty turkeys, ain't it? Big old bourbon reds. That's two of the three that survived after my first round raising them. We got one little old hen, and we should be getting some eggs out of her pretty quick, and can maybe do a little hatching, if you will. But I got my little buddy here with me, this little marshmallow. This is the smallest of the bunch, and Sissy is taking a liking to this one. I don't know if she thinks it's her puppy or what, but she is a little old soft baby goat. They're sure cute at this age, and we've got three of them. One of them, for whatever reason, didn't make it, but still got two does and a buck, and they're all doing fine and healthy. Of course, loss is part of it on the farm. You always hate it, but it's part of it, right? Now, Sissy, I'm going to go put her down. She needs to go see her mama. Sissy's curious about what I'm doing with this goat. That's that maternal instinct in her, I guess. But no, it's been a beautiful day, and the freezes are pretty much over with for this area. That pecan tree still hadn't budded out, but I was talking to my cousin this morning, Randy, and we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger and get these peas in the ground. The last frost line is usually around March 28th, 29th, and obviously that's behind us. So I took one more run at this little over quarter-acre patch this afternoon and scratched it one more time. Took the disc off, and we're ready to hook the cultivator up. We got our pea seeds, and still have yet to get the corn, but we'll get that done and get them peas growing, right? Well, I'm having to reset everything. You know, they say when the cat's away, the mice will play. Well, we don't have no cat around here, but this old farmhouse, from time to time, we have to deal with a mouse or two. And while I was gone celebrating the birthday with the kiddos, I had all those seed starts in there. They're about 3 inches high, about 200 of them. And some little old mouse must have got hungry because he wiped them all out. So we got to start all that over. I'm not real happy about that, but I'd let them eat this whole farm up to spend time with them babies. And boy, we had a really blessed weekend, thanks to my sister, my dad, and my daughter, all of them, for pulling off a pretty slick surprise. I'm not too easily surprised, but they got me on that one. I never saw that coming. And man, what a blessing! What a blessing! But 50 years don't feel 50. I remember when 50 was old. Y'all remember that? Some of you still think it is. Some of you think it's young. But just had to take some new steps and do some things different. And sometimes it's hard to redirect, and maybe you did things a certain way just because that's all you knew until you found out the reason. You're like, wait a minute, it's hard to change that up a little bit. Maybe live life a little different, a little simpler. Sunday school teacher this last week shared a story about a situation just like that. Young wife and husband was getting dinner ready for ham, and she cut the end off of it and wrapped it up and baked it. And he said, why do you cut the end off that ham? That looks like good meat on the end of it. She said, I don't know. That's what my mama always did. We cut the end of it off, and that's how we did it. He said, well, that's kind of weird. I don't know what that's about. She said, well, next time they have ham, I'll ask her. So a couple of 3 months later, they was over at her mama's house, and ham was on the menu. So just like she always did, her mama cut the end of it off, put it in the oven, and she said, Mom, why do you cut the end off? I do that, and I did it because you showed me that. She said, you know what, I don't even know why I cut the end off that ham, but that's how my grandma always did it. So I reckon I need to do it too. So they both got to talking about it, and they said, well, let's ask Grandma next time we're around. So sure enough, it was in holidays, and it was at Grandma's house, and she's fixing ham, and she cut the end of it off. And they said, why do you do that, Grandma? Why don't we cut the end? She said, well, it's an old habit. I reckon we don't need to do it anymore, but back in the day, we couldn't afford a big pot or a big pan to put that big old ham in. We was lucky to get it. So we had to cut the end off to make it fit the pan. That's something. Had absolutely no reason to cut the end off that ham. But because they'd done it all their life, didn't know why, just reckon that's how you're supposed to do it. So traditions are good, but sometimes we might need to figure out what's going on about them and might reap a few benefits by doing something a little different, right? For whatever that's worth. Now, just want to jump on here. We've got Easter coming up. And, we'll celebrate our risen Lord, and it's a beautiful time of year. I've got chicken eggs incubating in the incubator. Some of them will start popping out, I guess, next week. And that's how it goes. Easter seems to bring new life in lots of ways. And it's one of my favorite times of the year. It always falls around my birthday. I guess that's why. But just the green and the blues and the blue bonnets, and just a good time resetting new life. But I think I'm just about barely getting enough eggs to incubate, but that's what we're doing. Our flock's a little smaller than I'm used to, but it's still got plenty of chickens. I think we're up to 6 or 8 eggs a day, so they've come off of their winter break, and that's a good thing, ain't it? I don't have enough eggs for an Easter egg hunt, but that'll be all right too, won't it? I think I've got a couple of Americanas. They hadn't started laying their blue eggs yet, but they will directly. And that wisteria is in full bloom. I went out and took a couple of little cuttings of it, and go head down to south of here, a little north of Austin, ahead of Easter, and got a yard that needs some wisteria, so we're going to take it down there and see if we can transplant a little bit of it. That stuff sure is pretty. You got to maintain it, though. It'll take over a place quick, and it has here. I had to chop it back a pretty good bit several times. Well, let me do a roll call. I thought I'd check off and appreciate all the well wishes on my timeline. And I don't usually celebrate birthdays, but I guess this was a milestone, and given the circumstance over the weekend. And man, I tell you, having all them kids and on Lake Sam Rayburn, just living simple, and Faith got up and fixed breakfast for all us old boys. She is a mama bear for real. She's done that as long as I can remember. She takes care of them boys and her daddy. And, had her husband with us. My grandbabies didn't make it. Felicia didn't make it. Sweetheart didn't make it, but that's all right. We still had a good time and caught a few fish and told a few stories, and it was right enough. All right, well, let me do a quick roll call, and we'll call this a short one. I just hadn't been on in a little while. Thought I'd get on and say howdy, and leave it at that. Well, I don't see any comments this evening, so we'll just call it, and that'll do it. Y'all have a good evening. Be the light, and I guess we'll talk to you on Easter, if not before. It's almost planting time. We're ready. Talk to y'all later.